and there's a little weight on the tee, and Doug walks over to me, and he's like, "Hey, Mook," he's like, "check this out. I found this rock," and he's like, "Feel it. Feel how it feels so smooth. Like, just rub it." And I was like, I look at him and I'm like, "You just want me to rub your lucky rock, don't you?" And he was like, "No, just feel it. Feel the texture." And I'm like, "Doug, I'm not gonna rub your lucky rock." And he was just like, "No, touch it. Just touch it." And like Doug had found this rock that he was convinced, because he picked it up and somebody made birdie in front of me, that he was wanting to get everybody to touch his lucky rock. And I was just like, unbelievable.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawg Leg Show. This is episode 4 this week. We had some really good stuff go on in this episode. Main highlight was we talked about our time this past Sunday playing at Augusta National. Unbelievable experience. We highlight that in this episode. Also have a new special guest this week, Mookie DeMoss, our new assistant coach. So we get to hear about him from his professional golf experience, why he got into coaching, some different stuff like that. So make sure you guys tune in, listen to the whole episode. It's a good one this week.
Alrighty.
Episode 4 of the Dawg Leg Show.
Episode 4.
Is it 4?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we missed a week in there somewhere. But yeah, the first talking point of the week obviously is what happened in the PGA Tour last week with Wyndham Clark.
Yep.
First of all, the wind out there in the practice rounds was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I saw like Tony Finau hit driver on 7 and stuff like that. It was kind of crazy.
Hit it to the back edge of the green with like a chip driver.
Yeah, and then I saw like obviously Sunday got canceled, but like somebody, I think it was like Ben Griffin, tweeted out and was like, they should get the CBS crew and just have everybody try to do a closest to the thing when it was blowing like 60, 70 miles an hour or whatever. But yeah. He won a LIV event.
Yeah.
54 holes, no cut, $20 million.
Basically, PGA Tour wants to be LIV. So
that's pretty much what it was. But
Tony, the GC quad with Tony Finau said that ball went 252.
Yeah, and what is it, 100
that hole is like, it plays like 97 yards, I think.
I mean, it went just over the green, he said.
It just went to the back edge of the green. It said it went 252. That's how hard the wind was blowing. Justin Thomas was aiming out in the middle of the ocean on 18 and a 3-wood into the green.
Round,
I mean, I'm guessing it was blowing harder on Sunday, no?
Yeah, they said there was trees down everywhere, and like there was no way they could have played on Monday either.
But Wyndham's around, 3rd round.
Yeah.
60.
Wake up.
Yeah, wake up. He could have been 59. He left it just short on 17 and 18 in the heart.
He was rolling it that day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he didn't miss.
60-something feet of putt.
That's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, when you get like lift clean in place for like how good they are.
I don't know, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I missed the course record. Like, obviously, it's great.
I don't think
wasn't that much wind.
Yeah. Golf isn't easy, man.
No.
I don't care if you're giving lift clean in place for those guys, though, they stripe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you get a preferred line in the fairway every single time, but I mean, 60's 60.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I
that's,
agree.
I mean, 60's just going out there and flat balling. John Rahm's team, first week out on LIV.
Yeah.
How much did they win by? Did anybody see? I don't know how much they went out there and did it. Won that. Caleb Surratt played well.
Payday.
Yeah.
Former SEC player.
First week out of college, little $1.1 million payday.
Yeah, I saw something there that they don't know, like the team payout isn't what it says it is.
It's like less?
Well, because they said like it goes into like the team expenses for the week. Too. So like obviously all like the travel and stuff, I think that comes out of the team. It's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're still making a lot of money. But
do they bunch that all together?
Yeah.
Between the 4 of them?
So I think like their team won $3 million, but like I think I don't know, like they probably split it, but I don't know.
That's solid.
It's still a ton of money.
Tyrrell Hatton was talking about how Caleb couldn't check in at the resort.
Oh, yeah, the one this week?
He needed somebody over 21 or older to help him check in.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like couldn't get a room without it. He's 19 years old. Yeah. I don't know when he turns 20. He's in my grade. But
yeah, probably here soon.
Yeah. But Joaquin Niemann also shooting 59.
Yeah, it's the second one on LIV.
Yeah. Bryson 58. Then 59 for Waka.
58.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to pick y'all's brains about this. Do y'all think the setups out there are easier?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For sure.
They look like it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I mean, they want like crazy stuff to happen. Like they want like easy pins, hole outs, like hole in ones and stuff to kind of get viewers and stuff.
Without a doubt.
I think. But
I saw some feature they were talking about including where you're going to be able to watch like any shot from anybody's group, like at any point in time. Like
yeah,
you can
that
follow
is
just
cool.
a specific
The PGA Tour
player.
needs to do that.
Well,
too.
because I mean that's really the main reason that nobody's really. I mean, there's obviously an audience for LIV Golf. There's a decent. I mean, they have a decent viewership, but at the same time, like it's hard to find those events and watch them.
Yeah. That's why like the Masters coverage I think is awesome because like on the app, you can see every single person's shot.
You can watch it in corner.
Yeah, you can watch
like actual video. Of
of every person's shot kind of thing.
I remember back in COVID during virtual school. Did they play? They played that in November, but I was still doing virtual school, and I was just watching like Amen Corner the entire morning in my science class. That stuff's the absolute
nice.
best.
Yeah,
like every year.
Yeah. I'm pumped for it. I saw my first Master commercial a couple days ago.
Yeah. And we got a sneak peek on that.
Yeah. Got the juices flowing. Yeah, that's another big thing too. Played Augusta National on Sunday.
Yep. That was my first time.
Yeah.
Nice. It was awesome.
As you can tell by the hats.
Yeah. We got some merch for sure.
Yeah, those boys are repping.
It did. Yeah, it was. I had a smile on my face the whole day. It was awesome.
How long do y'all think it was playing?
Oh my gosh! Like
it was probably
over 8,000 yards.
It was probably what 50 degrees and windy.
Mm-hmm.
If that, yeah.
If that, and overcast. Ball wasn't going anywhere. That place is soft.
And it's wet,
I mean, it was probably playing every bit of 8,000 yards.
Yeah.
And what's weird out there too, I noticed this the other day. You know, obviously with all those pine trees and everything, the wind just swirls like crazy.
Yeah, you can't feel it in most spots.
I mean, 12 legit. You know, I've played Sawgrass a few times, and I know 17. You know, the week of the Players is a really difficult tee shot. Mm-hmm. But playing 12 at Augusta twice now, I mean, to hit that green on a Sunday when that pin's stuck over there on the right, trying to judge that wind,
in
is
contention,
impossible.
Yeah.
It's a clean stroke of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, because I can just tell, like from our group, Benny hit one. I think it was like 152 yards just to a middle pin. It was as easy as it could get. It was straight downwind, but I mean, it was pumping pretty hard.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was windy.
Benny hit a 9-iron, kind of chipped one, and the wind knocked it down. It was blowing so hard that knocked it down, went straight into the creek. Didn't even land on the slope, just went straight into the water. And then I hit one, so I watched his, just get batted down. Yeah. Which sometimes it does that. It's hard to guess when it's going to do
downwind.
it. So I hit mine full and almost flew it up there in the pine straw. I was like, what the heck
me
do
and
you
Buck
do?
in our group, we both hit in the bunker, the front bunker. And then Beck actually had a good shot, hit it like 8 feet. It was a good shot.
Yeah, that's a really good shot.
But
walk us through the day, like getting there, what were the groups, what all, kind of from start to finish, what did it look like?
So it was like super, like at least that's what Mookie was driving us, but he said it's like super strict, like the guard gate and stuff. Like we had to be there right at 10:20. Like you don't want to be late, you don't want to be early. Like we were there right on time. Like we were gonna wait out in the parking lot, so we like made sure we were there. And then like obviously there's security and stuff, and then like
roll call.
Yeah, they did roll call and everyone's names, and then like obviously the gates come down, and then you're just driving down Magnolia Lane. And it was super cool for sure. Like it's just like you can kind of tell like it's just so much like greener, like the grass and stuff, and you're like, oh, like it's really happening.
And it's right off that road too.
Yeah,
you don't know like Augusta's right there when you're on that road.
Yeah,
it's weird because like I remember the first time playing it last year, I was obviously like could not sleep the night before. I was so ready to wake up and go do it, but like until you actually start driving down Magnolia Lane, like you're like, oh,
for me it's like when you pulled off the exit.
Yeah, it's real. Like it's getting really real now, because I mean it just pops up out of nowhere. Just off a main road. I mean there's a CVS right across the street from the front gate. Like it looks completely normal, and then you just see the hedges and you're like, whoa.
John Daly's Hooters.
The John Daly's Hooters with the putting green out front. But Mookie was telling us a joke, which I thought this was hilarious. Mookie was telling us a joke that they had when he was back in school. They drive down Magnolia Lane, like, look, you see the driving range right there on the right. They overseed here.
Yeah,
they overseed this year. But it's pure. We played.
So we drove in. meet like our caddies and stuff. Then we kind of then we played the par 3.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought, just as cool as the big course.
Yeah.
The par 3 was awesome. Like,
Yeah, a lot of slopes on the greens.
yeah, we get there. We didn't really have much of a warm-up session, but I wasn't really too caring about that. But
What's nuts about that place too is, so they redid the par 3 course from the last time I had seen it. 8 and 9 stayed the same. I guess they played the new par 3 course last year in the tournament, but I wasn't paying attention at all. And my caddy mentioned to me, it took me a couple holes because I was like, I don't remember it being like this. Like, this looks a lot different than it used to, because I had been out there to watch it a few different times. And he's like, yeah, where we're standing right now is like the 4th or 5th hole. He's like, we would have been in the lake. Like, they moved the lake straight up. Like, just moved that ginormous lake in the middle of the par 3 course, which I think is just nuts how they do that.
Yeah, and they just plant trees.
Yeah, but it's
50-year-old trees. They just,
I was pretty nervous on the first tee. I was
the par 3?
Yeah, because it was
Did you go in the
windy.
first group?
No, I was in the last group.
Your last
Damn, I'm so glad, but it was like pretty windy, and I was just like, ball first.
Yeah, that first shot was tough.
Yeah, it was.
It was like 125 yards downhill, and we were hitting 9
Straight
irons.
into the wind.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went and played the par 3, came back, ate some lunch. They took our orders before we went out to the par 3, and
was incredible.
yeah, lunch was everything
Warm
you'd
cookies.
expect.
Best cookie I've ever had in my life.
It was
By
absolutely
far.
nuts.
And the
Yeah.
turkey, did you get the club?
Yeah, I got to take club.
That was pretty good for
Yeah,
the club.
it was really good. Yeah, and then we kind of got to see like a tour of the place. We went to like the champions locker room,
Yeah.
like the bird's nest, or
Crow's
like,
nest.
Or, crow's nest. But that's where like the amateur stay for the tournament and stuff, which was really cool. Saw like Tiger and all Jack, all their lockers and stuff
Rom's
like that.
jacket
Rom's
from last year.
jacket. But super cool.
Super cool.
That was cool. And then
Then we walked
Putted
out,
for-
and
yeah.
it was go time.
teed off on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. We played with Jeff Knox, who is
Yeah, I got to play with Jeff. That was
Yeah.
super cool.
he's the playing marker at the Masters for a long time.
Yeah.
He just-
He
absolutely.
probably played in like, I don't know, 8 Masters maybe.
Yeah.
Like whenever there's an odd number, like he'll play in a group, and then obviously his most famous, he got to play with Rory.
Yeah.
And he beat Rory, which is like
From
and
the
I
same
can-
teams.
Yeah,
Jeez,
I can see why, because
Yeah, he's good.
I play with him, and he's great putter, super cool guy.
Rolls it.
It was a dream day for sure.
Absolutely rolls it.
Yeah,
Stripes
and he knows
it too.
every
Yeah.
little square inch of that place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So it was an amazing experience. Obviously, Garth, you had a pretty cool chip in on 16.
I did, yeah. I
Your
did.
caddy convinced you to take.
Yeah,
they had a
Garth
pin
made
stuck
the
all the way.
Tiger chip.
Yeah, they had the pin stuck all the way there in the back corner on 16, like back left. Not where they. Sunday it's moved up a little bit more so you can have a shot at making a hole in 1, but they put it very back corner, and you hit it a little long left.
Yeah, my caddy, I was keeping score, trying to, battle back to even par, and he's like, yeah, hit it up here for fun. I'm going to take a video. I'm like, come on, man. It's a pretty easy chip. I could chip this in normal. I'm like, all right. And so I hit it up there, and it almost stopped on the pine straw, and then it just kept trickling, and then...
Yeah, I was on 15, and like we all heard the roar, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, you made the Tiger chip!"
We looked back and we saw you guys jumping around.
Yeah, y'all
wondering
made-
what was going
yeah,
on.
it's so
and
funny.
then Bob on 4 too.
Yeah, Bob chipped in from behind the green on 4 from the rough.
Yep, I saw that one.
And I was rolling it like a putt as well.
Yeah.
And I told him $2 if he gets it up and down, and
Yeah,
he made it.
Did you double it?
Yeah, 4.
Our group, I mean, I birdied 16, which was fun. Beck made eagle on 13, which was
Yeah.
really cool.
I saw
'cause,
that
like,
from
yeah,
group ahead.
And then Buck just played like perfect. He shot 3 under and 8,000 yard Augusta National.
He loves that
And then
place,
Jeff
man.
Knox was making all the putts. I was like, dang, I gotta do that. But yeah, it was so fun.
You can't get mad when
No,
you
I was
bad
not mad at
shots
all. I
out
can
there,
make
though.
triple, and I'd be like, oh, on to
Yeah,
the next.
exactly. You're like,
On
all
to the
right, I'm
next.
here to go.
Jonald birdied 3 of the last 4 to
Yeah.
shoot even. We mentioned last week that it was his first time playing out there. Clutched up on that last
The new
counting test
Carl.
to get a tee time. New Carl.
New Carl.
That's his new name. If anybody watching this podcast ever sees JT Herman in public, just start calling him New
Dougie's
Carl.
he's gonna love me.
We don't have to
New
tell
Carl.
him. Well, we can tell him the reason. It's literally so JT if that chipping green was to be owned by anybody else but the University of Georgia that we have out there, it would be owned by JT Herman.
Yeah. And it used to be Carl's.
It used to be Nick Cassidy's, who we call Carl. But he, maybe not willingly, it was passed down to JT though.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day. You want chip?
Yeah, I don't see JT lose many chipping contests out there.
He's good out there.
Yeah, it's brute. So JT knew Carl, if anybody sees him, but he birdied 3 of the last 4. It was sick.
Yeah,
and then
he was striping it all day, but
and then we got to go in the pro shop, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the pro shop is a little bit overwhelming
and pricey, and it's just so many cool stuff that you only can get in there.
It's worth it. Though.
It's totally worth it.
These hats.
Yeah, we're wearing our merch.
You can drop a bag in there pretty quick.
Yeah, fast.
Pretty quick. But I think that's basically it for what
Was there any holes that bit anyone?
One always bites me. I don't know what it is. If it's the nerves.
Well, yeah, hole 1 for me. Like I was taking it back and I just like went blank at the top. I was like, oh no.
Number 7.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I can play the first 6 holes out there and 1 under with my eyes closed. I don't know why. Like I play those holes really well. 7 is where I know it's gonna start.
It's the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that fairway is so tight.
That's where it gets hard. That's like the first tee shot you kind of step up to, and you're like, 5's hard. 4's hard because just 5's just so long, and 4 is a long par 3. But up until 7, that's like the first tee shot you step up to, and you're like, wow, like if I miss this 20-yard wide fairway, I'm punching out.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get to the green either.
No, there's
bunkers, guard out. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Underrated hole.
Super underrated hole. They make that hole look really, really easy. It's like 460 yards
from back there. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not realize that.
Yeah.
But and none of those holes play downwind.
No.
They all. It seemed you literally, you'd have holes that run beside each other, legitimately. Like 1, goes right next to 9. 1, we're hitting into the wind.
Yeah, and then 9
get to 9, hitting into the wind.
Yeah.
We hit into the wind on 8, which is going a completely different direction than 9, into the wind. Yeah. 7 and 8 were into the wind, and they literally run right next to each other. It made no sense, but that happens constantly out there. 7,
and it's like so like. Obviously, like some people know, but like it's so hilly out there. Like
I was gonna mention
which is like TV, like it's hard to see. But people go to the Masters, are like, wow, like that's.
What'd you think of the front?
Like walking.
It's hilly, but also the green complexes.
Yeah, what'd you think of the front slope on 5? Things about as tall as you, George.
Oh yeah.
And 6, the top right shelf. There's like 15 feet up there.
6 greens.
And that's taller than me too.
Yeah.
That's not.
I went ahead and planted one up there on the top right shelf to that pin.
Screwed.
I actually had the best putt of my life to like 5 feet, and then
you made it.
No, I was almost cool once that whole entire day. That was it. And on 16, I almost made it. But
something interesting they do is they redo a couple greens a year.
Yeah, they change.
That.
That's one thing. Tiger's talked about that before. They change green complexes out there like every. I want to say like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, some years,
Because they redo the whole entire deal. They tear it all up.
And there's different little slopes and stuff.
And there's different slopes. Because Tiger, I remember hearing an interview, Tiger talking about how there was one instance where he had like a 40 or 50 footer on one of those holes, which is, if you're over 20 feet from a pin out there, those putts get treacherous.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not in the right section of the green, it can be
a couple times.
Brutal. And Tiger just putted this thing off of memory. Like, he barely looked at it because he was like, I've had this putt before, and I know what it does. And he literally missed it by like 15 feet. He was like, whoa, that's not the same. So they do change them. Yeah,
subtly,
very
4
subtly.
and 6 they changed this year. And you can tell.
I noticed that. 6 has an extra back shelf.
I don't know, but 2, 4, and 6, that's like Caddy said.
So Patrick, the producer here. So my dad, he used to be a touring pro way back in the day, and he's gotten to play Augusta like close to like 40 something times.
Oh wow!
He's got 2 friends that are members. I won't name names or anything like that. But he hasn't played out there in a while. But I think it was one of the first times he played there. They get there. They're staying in one of the cabins left at number 10.
Yeah.
They play the par 3 course, and he aces number 7. And everyone but the member was saying like giving him griefs, like it's the par 3 course, it doesn't count. It's not. He had never had a hole-in-one yet.
Wow.
The member, my dad, like it counts.
Yeah, that 100% counts.
So like they gave him like crystal and did like the whole thing for it. Spend the night, get up the next morning, they play the big course, and he gets on number 12. It was a front left location. I think it was like lower 150s.
Yeah.
And he hit, I think it was an 8-iron. He like, you know how you can take your club back and like it'll sometimes like catch, depending on like the grain or anything. He catches it going back, didn't stop.
Still swung,
hits it. I've heard the story a million times, so I know I can tell the story pretty well. But the ball's on the way up, and the member says that's close if it doesn't go in. And the ball reaches its climax and starts to come down. Right before it hits the green, my dad felt his hand on the shoulder from the member and goes, "Nice ace," and 2 hops and in the hole.
Oh my gosh.
I think he went on to shoot like 67 that day.
Dang.
He like had a round. So back-to-back days at Augusta National, one of the par 3 course, one of the big course. That's pretty hard to beat. He's got the ball framed, he's got the scorecard, he's got everything at the house from it. But my favorite story is another time he played there with the member. He gets on 15, and my dad always hits a fade. He's always hit a fade his entire life, but he pulls one a little bit on 15, and he's blocked out by the trees, and he can't go for it in 2. So he lays up, and the caddy says, "You've got 88 yards to the hole. You need to fly at 90. You need to fly just past the hole." My dad's like, 88, 90. Okay, dude,
Same
whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So dad hits the shot. He lands just short of the hole. 2 hops and like sucks back in the water. Drops another ball there. The caddy says the same thing. You got to fly past the hole. My dad puts like 4 on the drink there. Just like landed just short of the hole. Back in the water, back in the water, back in the water. Finally hits it, lands just past the hole. Gets close. So then fast forward like a week or so, my dad gets back to, I think he was living in Chicago at the time. Him and the member had a tradition of exchanging gifts or whatever. And my dad gets to his door, and there's a big package, and he opens it up, and there's a letter from him. "Greg, great to see you as always, great playing, blah, blah, blah. By the way, based on the way you played 15 this trip, I think this is the closest you'll ever get to a green jacket." And my dad opens up the package, and it's an Augusta green bathrobe with the crest on it. So he still has that hanging in his closet. I love that story. That's the closest he'll ever get based on the way he played 15 that time.
Awesome.
That's killer.
Cool. But yeah, I haven't gotten to play there yet, but it's a pretty special place.
Yeah.
Special place.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
like you said, on 15, it can get everywhere out there.
Dicey.
You can make
Oh,
a big
yeah.
number on the back
Dicey.
nine.
That's a very dicey wedge shot.
And any back 9, like
Yeah,
11,
back 9.
12, 13.
And I mean, it's a downslope as well. I mean, you can catch one thin, and you can be in the water on 16 really easily.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my whole story.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and just how, I know I mentioned this to you before, George. I told you to pay attention how quiet it was on number 2 tee.
Yeah. 2 was very quiet.
What'd you
for
think?
Sure. Yeah. It was just a quiet day.
It's just quiet.
Yeah.
Your 178
So
ball
quiet.
speed,
Yeah.
cruising down the slopes.
Yeah, they heard that drive. Heard the crack.
I remember like last year when I played for the first time, it wasn't windy at all. It was pretty calm day. And we were sitting back there all the way in the trees, and I'm sitting over my tee shot, and I was the first one to hit on the hole. And I was like literally sitting over it, and I've never had this happen before, but I was like, whoa, it is dead silent. Couldn't hear anything. And I just like flailed one in the bunker, and I was like, I was totally just like, I was dumbfounded. I was like, that is the most quiet place I've ever been in my
it was
life.
quiet.
It's nuts.
I mean, I think there was 3. We had 3 groups, and I think there's one other group that played that day on Sunday.
Yeah, in front of us.
Yeah, that was it. That's the only people we saw.
Yeah, it was awesome though. Unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
Unbelievable experience for sure.
All right, so today's topic isn't really a golf hypothetical, but there's a couple questions we got asked. Real quick, so what's a course each of you have not played yet that is like number 1, I'm dying to play that course, your number 1 course that you haven't played yet?
National Golf Links.
Wait,
Top of the list.
What's that?
National Golf Links in New York.
Yeah.
I've heard that place is unbelievable.
I'll probably say like Cypress Point. Just because like it kind of already has the hype, but
Yeah.
it looks so sick.
I'll say Pebble, just because it's historic and
Yeah.
a lot of history.
$700, you can spend the night there, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that covers the hotel fee, but spend the night there and $700 green fee.
Yeah.
Check that one
Chump
off.
change
And
for
hope
you,
for
right?
good weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay there at the lodge.
Yeah.
That turns in $2,700 pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'll save up.
And then second question we have is, what course that you guys played that has the best practice facility that it's like, oh, I could just stay on that range the whole time?
Down. You got
No,
it.
you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Down in St. Simon's, like Frederica,
I was gonna say the same thing.
that place
That
is
wedge,
sick.
you could sit on the wedge.
Yeah, there's like a wedge
All-
range, and there's like the main range, and there's putting green stuff. Like I would say, like Frederica was one. I was like, I could stay here all day for sure.
Yeah. I used to go down there when I was little.
Yeah.
We had a friend who's a member, and as like a little kid, like the wedge range was like an iron range, and I like loved it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got like a couple greens down there, and yeah, that place is
Yeah, that
legit.
place is sweet.
Legit.
It's like golf club of Tennessee. I played there. Mookie mentioned that in his days of college golf, but it's just like you're kind of hitting into like a mountain like kind of backdrop, and it's got good chipping and putting. That's what I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot out there.
There's probably a
Like mountain courses, I think are super cool.
like Wade
practicing,
Wade
in the
Hampton's
mountains.
range
Yeah.
is not anything special.
Yeah.
You know, like half the golf balls, if you hit a driver, you're hitting it into like tall grass, like because it's so short. But you hit
Right up the road, Mountaintop's pretty. They got a nice little facility.
that is a
there.
good one.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
The backdrops of those driving ranges are unbelievable. I'd say another good one that I've been to as well is this course out in Washington called the Home Course. And again, like it wasn't anything special, but you like legitimately wanted to sit on this driving range the whole entire day because you're looking out at like the mountains and like you just don't get any of that type of scene.
I always love the pictures when they roll around for Big Cedar Lodge where it's like the range has like all the different greens
Yeah.
and it's all like rocky
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stuff. Like I
that's
feel like you
super
just
cool.
sit there and just hit different shots. Like you can play a round of golf on that range essentially.
Sick.
That's a good one.
So sick. On our next segment, we got our
Coach.
new assistant coach here, Mookie DeMoss. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Clap it up.
Honored to be here on the Dawg Leg.
I know. Exciting stuff.
we talked
Exciting
about it
stuff.
on the first episode. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave him a
People
little
know who
sneak
you are.
peek.
Yeah.
But from Duluth, Georgia.
That's right.
Same hometown as me.
Duluth, baby.
Duluth.
Grew up playing out at Sugarloaf.
Yep.
Solid.
Yep.
So you graduated Georgia when?
2015.
2015.
Yep.
You turned pro right after move. You actually you said you lived here for a couple of years.
Yeah, I lived here through 2018, and yeah, I turned pro right after NCAA's at Concession. We made a good run, lost in the semifinals, Final Four to LSU, who went on to win it, and then turned pro. I had me and a guy named Nick Reach, who I played with, both had Canadian status. We did it as an amateur. You could do the Q school as an amateur and then turn pro after. So I went up and played in Canada when I finished, but yeah.
So tell us about that national championship experience that year.
Yeah, it was awesome. We really came together in the spring, and we made a good run, played a great postseason, played well at regionals, and we're leading stroke play at NCAA's for, I think, the first 3 rounds, and ended up finishing second or third in the stroke play portion, but everybody was really playing good at the right time, and we had no doubt in our mind we were going to win it, and lost a heartbreaker there in match play, but it was a really, really fun week, and one I'll never forget.
Who was the starting 5 that year?
So
who was the 5 playing?
it was myself, Sepp Straka, Grayson Sig, Lee McCoy, and then Zach Keeley, freshman
Yeah.
from Duluth.
That's a lineup, right?
That is an absolute lineup. That's a killer.
did you win your match against us?
I won my first match against a guy on South Florida. They were the host school. They had a good team that year. And then I got waxed by Zach Wright at LSU.
Yep. How was the energy that day?
I think I have the record for at Georgia. We'll have to go back in the archives, but for the biggest match play victory and the biggest match play defeat. So I won a match 9-7 at Golf Club of Tennessee, and then I lost 7-5 there at NCAA's, which is, yeah.
Those things can really go either way.
Zach was
bigger win
playing
than
good.
loss.
Zach was
That's
playing good. Yeah, I know. So
Sometimes you just
but
run
it was
into
a
a
great
buzzsaw.
experience. Yeah.
I mean, that stuff's nuts.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about your professional golfing career. You turned pro right after school
Yep.
and
to Canada.
played up until this past year, right?
Correct. Yep. So kind of played all over, kind of almost every tour you can imagine. Played up in Canada when I graduated. Played in Latin America in 2018, full season down there, and then made it to final stage of Q school that fall and got my Korn Ferry card, but had conditional status. Ended up getting in a couple events that year, and had to go back to Q school and missed its second stage, getting to final stage, and then went back to Latin America for a couple seasons and played a bunch of mini tours, and then caddied for some of these former players here in my off weeks the last few years, which was really good experience.
Yeah, so tell us about that a little bit. I know you've caddied for Kirk some. You've caddied for Keith a little bit. Who else?
Sup, Todd. Haven't caddied for Grayson. Nope.
That's shocking.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Tour caddy.
Yep.
Do you have any?
A guy named Josh Teeter, I've caddied for him a couple times.
Okay.
Kentucky guy. He lived down in St. Simon, so yeah.
Do you have any good stories from any of those experiences?
Man, there's a lot. We can talk about that for sure, but it's really just neat getting to be on the bag for those guys and be so up close and see what they do, and obviously seeing a lot of really great golf shots and a lot of really neat circumstances, and got to be there when some of those guys were in contention, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, there's a bunch. I mean,
I saw Sam Ryder's hole-in-one at Waste Management when they started chucking beers at you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep, that was wild. Got the whole beer shower.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. Brian Harmon was also in that group, another dog, and he was the last to hit and had to wait like 20 to 30 minutes for them to clear off the green. They just kept chucking stuff on the green. So
they did that a bunch that week.
Yeah,
they'd never done that before, had they?
That was the first hole-in-one in like, I don't know how many, 8 or 10 years or something. And so when that went in, they were going crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. So obviously you played in some PGA Tour events yourself too.
Yep.
So you've been on both sides of it.
Yep. No, nothing major, but Monday qualified for a couple events, and then handful of Korn Ferry events. But yeah. So
for the viewers who don't really understand like the different, I guess levels you'd call it to professional golf, explain Q school, because I'm not really even super familiar with it myself. So explain how that process goes.
Oh man. All right. Well, there's a lot to it, but there's 3 stages, and you've got to advance through each. So there's maybe 12 Q school sites around the country, first stage sites, and they take the top 20% or so of those. We'll go to second stage, and there's 5 second stage sites around the country, and then same thing, and whittles down, and then there's 1 final stage. And used to be top 40 would get your Korn Ferry card, and now their top 5 finishers will go straight to the PGA Tour. And then if you finish outside the top 40, you'll have conditional status based off of how high you finish.
So you have to make it to final stage to get anything?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's where the nerves start to come out, second stage.
Yeah.
To make it to the final.
Yeah. Yep.
So you finished up with professional golf. What made you want to make the switch to coaching? Because obviously, maybe as some of you guys have seen the video of Keith Mitchell talking about how he wanted you to be his performance coach. And, obviously you'd be awesome at that after I've known you for a little over a month now, really well. And, you've helped me a bunch already with, just different TrackMan stuff, practice schedule, getting organized with stuff like that, and just being really mature with practice. What made you want to go into coaching as opposed to being, maybe a performance coach out there?
Yeah, so Coach Hack first approached me about it in August. I was actually out here practicing one day. I was passing through town, my parents' house in Atlanta, and Sugarloaf's closed on Monday, so I called them to see if I could come over and practice. And Coach Hack talked to me at the time about wanting to hire a third coach, and said he thought of me and didn't know if I was interested in it. And it was probably a 10-minute conversation, and he knew that I was focused on getting ready for Q school, and so I told him that and just kind of said, maybe we can revisit this in the future, but right now I want to focus on this. And so it kind of got the wheels turning a little bit. Growing up, I kind of always wanted to be a coach. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a PE teacher and a basketball coach, because that was kind of a lot of the guys that I looked up to, and some of my heroes were my coaches in basketball, just kind of through lower school and middle school and high school, and then obviously got into golf in high school and then played collegiately, and so it kind of got the wheels turning a little bit. And then fast forward to early October, the birth of our first little daughter, baby Jane.
Plain Jane.
That's right, on the 4th. And we got home from the hospital on a Friday, and then Saturday morning I had to fly out to Nebraska for Q school, and which was, I didn't realize the effect that would have on me, just like obviously it was so fresh, but I was really emotional leaving. And so anyways, played solid the first couple days and had a tough finish the third day. Michael Cromie actually was caddying for me, who is now full-time Kirk's caddy, and it was great having him out there. He was a huge help. He is, in my opinion, as good of a caddy as you can have out there, so I was pumped when
he's got a pretty good track record.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. So that was good, but ended up missing, and got home, and my wife Betsy was kind of asking where my heart was at with everything, and I was just telling her how my perspective had shifted pretty rapidly, pretty quickly, and that I didn't really want to go back to Latin America with a baby at home. Mm-hmm. And so the timing of it all was kind of interesting. So Coach Hack and Coach Doug called me from Hawaii, y'all's last event in the fall. That was maybe a week or two after I got home, and they were kind of asking where I was at with it and revisit the conversation, and I shared some of that perspective shift, and so they went and talked with the athletic department to try to make it happen, and happened right 2 days before Christmas, and they said my start date's January 1st.
There you go.
Yeah,
so exciting stuff.
Here I am, so I'm
for
pumped.
Sure.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So springboarding off of your time with UGA Golf, and continued time with UGA Golf, do you have a favorite story well, I'll ask you for a Doug story in a minute.
Okay.
But do you have, just like, other than the national championship, do you have a favorite memory of travel or a tournament?
Man, there's so many. Being on the road with the guys is always so fun, and
it's an underrated thing.
Yeah,
it's such a unique bonding time, and like you just make so many memories, so many inside jokes, as you guys know, and it's great when you have a good group of guys on the road.
From an outsider's perspective, one of those things where it's like you don't know how good of a time it is until you're past it, or it's like you get a sense like you're in the good times, but then it's just like...
No, you definitely enjoy it. I mean, these guys can attest to it's fun traveling, and everybody can attest to if the van ever pulls out of the parking lot and you're not one of those guys, it's like, man, like I want to be in the van, I want to be heading to the airport, and you want to help the team out, obviously. I would say you enjoy it. I would say it goes by so fast. And everybody always said that, and it's so true. I mean, it is, here you are in your last semester, and it's just like, how did this happen?
Exactly.
And so it goes by so fast, and then, of course, you appreciate it potentially even more afterwards. Because that's another thing I was telling these guys on day one when on our first team meeting, is that team golf is so unique and so special, and I think it's why all of these players, the best players in the world, that's the top of their list each year, is they want to make these teams. They want to make the Ryder Cup team or President's Cup team, whatever it is, because that's the one sort of semblance of team golf that they get at that level, and there's nothing like it. So So it's neat to be a part of that in some way, for sure. As far as stories when I was here, they're like the one that I just popped into my head that stood out from a non-Doug story was one day we were out here, me, Grayson, and Sepp on the range, and we used to have bent grass greens out here on our old greens, and so you know how they have those big fans that oscillate to keep the greens dried off, and so there was a fan on the far green. We were probably 60 or 70 yards from it, and we just said, all right, we each get one shot to hit the fan, and if one of us hits the fan and the other two don't, you have to run from there all the way down the hill and touch the pin on number one and then run back, and you can't walk, you have to run. And
well, Pidge probably had a tough time with that one.
and we'll follow in a golf cart. And so I went first and doinked it right off the pin, and then Grayson, and it was like, no way, like it's not, I mean, off the fan. You know, it's a pretty small target from 60 or 70 yards for one shot. So then Grayson goes and hits the dead center of the pole that holds it up, doinks it off, and we're just like, no way. So then Sepp goes and he misses it, and we're just dying laughing. So we hop in a golf cart and we're egging him on. He's running all the way down to touch the pin and come back. And it's probably like close to a mile, like down and back.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not
coming back straight uphill. And he's huffing.
Wait, he had to touch. Wait, he had to touch where?
The flagstick on number one.
On number one.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So you got to cut all the way across and run down there. And he was so mad. And coming back, Grayson has a video on his phone, but we were just egging him on, and he's running. We told him if he could catch up to the golf cart on the way back, he could ride. And so he just takes off sprinting. But that was a funny time.
Yeah, that's a good story.
And then there's a plethora of Doug stories.
Yeah.
Do you have a pick of one Doug superstition? Because I know one superstition. I know one from Doug's or from Lee McCoy's days where there was literally one hole. I forgot where it was. It was legitimately just one shot.
Yeah.
That Sherm hit really well one of the days of the tournament, and the next day, I think it might have been a par 3. He hadn't seen Doug the entire day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Doug had these Skittles in his pocket, like an open pack of Skittles. And wherever it was hot. Doug the next day shows up on the par 3, same pack of Skittles in his mouth.
Yeah.
You had a good shot here.
Somebody as superstitious as Doug. So the one that comes to mind was Pebble Beach, the Carmel Cup, our senior year. We're out at Pebble Beach, incredible tournament, 3 rounds at Pebble. We got caddies, and number 7, the well-known par 3 down the hill. It's right there on the rocks overlooking the ocean, and there's seals playing in the water. And there's a little weight on the tee, and Doug walks over to me, and he's like, hey, Mook. He's like, check this out. I found this rock. And he's like, feel it. Feel how it feels so smooth. Like, just rub it. And I was like, I look at him and I'm like, you just want me to rub your lucky rock, don't you? And he was like, no, just feel it. Feel the texture. And I'm like, Doug, I'm not going to rub your lucky rock. And he was just like, no, touch it. Just touch it. And like Doug had found this rock that he was convinced because he picked it up and somebody made birdie in front of me that he was wanting to get everybody to touch his lucky rock. And I was just like, unbelievable.
I mean, he legitimately...
I didn't touch it. I refused. I was like, Doug, I'm not going to do it. We ended up winning the tournament. That's good.
We have, obviously, what Doug calls Satch, which is just like the big duffel bag where we carry all this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's sitting in the other room right now. Legitimately, it was...
there's stuff in there.
There's stuff in there. I mean, you got like, my dad makes a joke, like they got a rabbit's foot in there, they got sage. But no joke, they have, I think it was Brian McPherson, who played here a few years ago from Australia, gave Hacker like a bottle opener. It was legitimately like kangaroo nuts.
Oh, I've seen that in there.
They carry it with them everywhere. And it's not, the bottle opener part broke off. It's legitimately just kangaroo nuts. Just in the middle of the duffel bag. You literally go in this bag looking for a glove or like Advil or like Sinus or like, you know.
The stuff we need on there.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the? what is this doing in here? You touch it and you're like, ugh. I don't even want to be in here anymore.
Yeah.
It's just good coaching.
It's just good coaching. Hey, they've been doing it for a long time. They would know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, we're gonna have to get Doug on here at some point.
Definitely.
Without a
We'll get
doubt.
some good content with
There's
Doug on the
some
pod.
amazing content. Maybe get him on a conspiracy theory or two. We could be
yeah.
sitting here until it's about 5:45 right now. We could be sitting.
That
here
might
till
be a
midnight.
longer episode.
Yeah, that would that would be more of a
Cut some
Joe.
stuff
That would be a
out.
Joe. That would be
Yeah,
a Joe Rogan
extended cut
experience.
version.
You forget you were watching a Georgia golf podcast.
No kidding.
But Mook, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Thanks for coming on.
It was a
It's an honor.
blast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You ready for yoga?
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yoga time, baby.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes to head over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Mook.
Thanks for coming on.
So
Appreciate
you,
it.
Mookie.
All right, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Should be back next week, and make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. The Dawg Leg Show, DAWG, and DM us for the new question in the segments on the reel there. Thanks.